Well, we're here, celebrating the 50th anniversary of humanity setting foot on the moon, but also it's been 47 years since humanity last set foot on the moon. And so it seems like we haven't really done much since. But what has happened since is tremendous advances in technology that are inspiring a private commercial space industry. And I honestly think that's the way forward. And we're at the cusp. We're very, very close to a space boom. Hi, I'm Andy Weir, author of The Martian, which features a man who gets stranded on Mars, and also the author of Artemis, which features a smart alecky criminal in the first city on the moon. I think within 10 to 20 years, the price of getting mass into low Earth orbit is going to be driven down low enough that it'll start to become possible for middle-class people to afford a space vacation. And when that happens, it's going to become a trillion-dollar industry. So I think this is actually a pretty exciting time. We're at the very beginning. It's kind of like if you were looking at the airline manufacturers, the very first ones to come up in the 1930s, and go like, this is interesting. I wonder where this is going to go. The moon has just been humanity's companion since before we even understood that the world was round. And it's universal to all cultures. There's nobody who can't see the moon, so everybody's got their own stories about it. It has this mystical quality to it. So we have, deep down, all the way in our lizard brains, a strong desire to just fan out and colonize everything we can get our grubby paws on. And we can't help but look up at the moon and kind of want to colonize that as well. So I think we just want to, at some core level, be there. The thing about the moon is it's almost like cheating. The moon is so conveniently placed. It is in orbit around Earth, so it's always this fairly constant distance from us. We don't have to do any special work with like super duper complicated launch windows like going to Mars. Not only that, but it's basically made out of aluminum and oxygen, which gives you the metal to build your moon city and then the air to fill it. Within my book Artemis, there's an established city, a small city of about 2,000 people, permanent residents that can service about 2,000 tourists. Every city on Earth, no matter which one it is, at some point it exists because it had a financial reason to. People don't uproot their lives and their entire situation and move to a new place just for the heck of it. They need a financial reason to do it. They need to have a job. And so in order for a city to exist, there has to be a financial reason for it to exist. And I said, what is the financial reason? Mining? Well, you could send robots to do your mining. Research? Well, that's not enough to support an entire city. And so finally I decided tourism. The answer is tourism. And so the conceit in the book is that the price to low Earth orbit, the price of commercial spacecraft, has been driven down by competition far enough that middle-class people can't afford to go into space. I definitely believe the Apollo 11 landing site will be a historical site of significance on the moon, probably one of the most important ones until the moon starts developing its own historically important moments within the culture that develops there. To know the exact location where a human first touched an entire celestial object, that's pretty neat. And I've got to assume that people will flock to go look at it. I sure would. If I was going to go to the moon as a tourist, that would be the first place I'd want to go. I don't think that Artemis is a depressing view of the future at all. In fact, it's a firm economic foundation of a city with growth potential. I think there's nothing wrong with a resort town. It's all about economic systems. Most people think Artemis is just like, what did I base it on? Like, stories of like, cities out in space or great adventure novels or things like that. Really, one of my greatest influences for Artemis was the movie Chinatown. Chinatown is really, at its core, an economic movie. It's the story of the ugly, nasty machinations that have to happen in order for a city to grow. If I wrote a book, if there was no such thing as a moon, and I wrote a book about some weird alien species and they all evolved on a planet that had a moon, and their moon was as convenient as our moon. If this was all fiction I wrote, people would just say, this is not entertaining, this is just not realistic. It is, the world you've created for these people is making it too easy. The moon is just right there, full of resources, in a low gravity well, which means it's our gateway to the rest of the solar system. And it's just sitting there waiting for us to go.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.